JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. May 2024, going to be really quick, about 7 minutes or so, or as fast as I can get through it. Quick pre-market ramp. Talk about some of the stocks I'm looking at the market. We have earnings after the close on two names I'm in. Some other names I have my eyes on that reported after the close, and go from there. But take a look at a SPY. Or at least the S&P closed higher for the fourth straight session. It was like a meticulous melt to the upside, chopped around for most of the day. Then all of a sudden, 2 o'clock, reversed all those gains into the red. Then we start to bounce just a little bit, and then we had a last day surge to get the markets in, well, at least the S&P into the green. Nasdaq closed lower. And then this morning, we were kind of chopping around. Futures were flat and a little green, then flat again, and all of a sudden, right around 5, oh, not 5, well, 7 a.m. we hit the highs, and it's just been a melt ever since. So I don't see any news. Where did we hit? Oh, I have the wrong, why do I have the wrong time up here? Anyway, so we're down here at 5:15:30 on the SPY. And I put it on watch list this morning, which will be up. Hopefully, I'll hit the publish button today and not send it out too late like I did yesterday. But we 5:12:50 or so to 5:18:50, probably chop in between those two areas to today and tomorrow. Find a little, I guess some buyers, and then maybe we can close at highs into the end of the week. Would be a nice setup, and then the highly anticipated CPI data will be out on the 15th, a week from today. I'm sure there's gonna be more hype over the weekend. It's going to be such a well, I wouldn't say it's such an important data piece, but it concerning what we've had over the last 3 months, if this comes in hotter than expected, it's kind of going to throw a lot of things out of the window that have happened, especially with the weaker jobs report last Friday. So that's the SPY. Some good signs, and I keep talking about this 50-day moving average for S&P stocks. We're now up to nearly 53% of all stocks on the S&P over their 50-day moving average, and it's trending in the right direction. So those are good signs. So I still remain cautiously optimistic. I hate to see a huge move, 5, 6, 7 day rallies. Then we typically have a big pull. I'd rather see some consolidation. Maybe we get that today and tomorrow, get a bounce here, later in the morning. And I'm not sure if we'll get back into the green. SPY's down 0.42% right now, or at least S&P futures. Maybe that'll bounce a little bit. So some of the names. Oh, and last but not least, the small caps. Small caps are right at the upper Bollinger Band, so they close up another 0.2% yesterday. Once those start to go, I'll get really excited. And typically, when small caps start to run, at a lot of the bio names, especially names I like, will start to rally in lockstep. So hopefully get that soon. All right, some of the names I'm looking at. So IIPR cardlytics report after the close today. Probably said this about 4 or 5 times. IIPR's earnings are not really about its earnings, but its updates around its business, its dividend, its cash position, its debt, things like that. I think the stock trades over 120 in the coming week or two. I was watching it yesterday and the day before. It just seems like it's stalled around that 111, 112 area. I don't want to see the premiums come out, so I went and locked the rest of my May strikes in. Not only that, we have a possible binary event with earnings after the close, so can't fault myself for locking in those profits. You never know what could happen. I'm still remain optimistic and bullish on the name, but if it there's some kind of surprise in the report, it certainly could trade on $100. So don't think that's gonna be the case, but it always makes sense to lock the profits. If it rallies today, can't rule that out either. I would look to lock some of my June strikes in when they get over 100%. They got close last week. Still haven't had a chance to lock those in. Hopefully we get a chance today, but if not, I'm still comfortable holding those in to earnings. So that's IIPR. Cardlytics reports after the close today as well. I was talking about trying to lock. I've already locked the Junes in, so those are freebie calls, riding the 18 strikes. I also added some of the May 20s. I was hoping to get an opportunity to close some of those in to cover costs. Not sure if I'm going to get a chance today. That stock's up 5 days in a row, off that 12 handle. If you look, it's up 8 of the past 9 sessions. Just a great sign. And I talked about the Clifford Sosin stake. He has 14.4% stake in the company. Also owns some of their debt. You have Carvana, which has been on a tear outside of that possible Hindenburg research report that may be pending. A little tweet yesterday. So as long as that continues to hold its ground, you have to think at some point he's going to reallocate his portfolio. When he only has 5 holdings and Carvana has run up so much, you would think he would try and either sell some of the Carvana or use leverage to get his percentages a little back in line. So that's that. That's Cardlytics. STRL. So if you look at Sterling Infrastructure, is one of my top 5 stocks for 2024. Its last earnings back in February huge move from the 70s all the way up to I think it hit 115. And then you see a meltdown from 115 all the way back down to 98. And then again, after the close on Monday, a great report, rallied, gapped higher at the open yesterday, and just pretty much rallied for most of the session, closing at 122. Spreads are wide, premiums are tough. There's only monthly strikes. Didn't want to sit there and chase. I think it's a great story. Obviously, being one of my top 5 stocks for the year, I think it has that tailwind of the infrastructure bill that's 2.5 years old. All these deals are starting to bear fruit, and you have companies that are, front and center taking advantage of that and going to continue to take advantage of it. On the flip side, a name that I'll probably look to trade would be my other one of my top 5 stocks, Star Surgical. That one rallied back at the start of April after they raised guidance. I think it's a great underappreciated story in the switch over from LASIK vision. I mean, I forget the data. I don't have it at the top of my head when I was doing my top 5 stock webinar back in January. The exact data, the amount of people that have that need solutions for their eyes, and used to be LASIK. Now you have Star Surgical can do procedures that are reversible. Things like I think the addressable market remains huge, and STAA Star Surgical does not have their footprint even in the door yet. They don't have the foot in the door, and their footprint's it's very small right now, and I think it continues to get larger. So it's actually gapping a little bit lower. The ask is at 45 here in the pre-market. I got an upgrade this morning from 53 to 55, their price target. I don't see any other analysts op-ins yet, but I think it heads over $50. So I may look to get some calls on some weakness this morning. Maybe some June strikes for some calls to play for move over $50. That's Star Surgical. Trupanion. I barely even. I pretty much. I think I said on watch list yesterday before. I'm going to take it off the watch list. And sure, what has it done? It's rallied over 28% from its lows on Friday. No news, no catalyst. Canaccord, however you pronounce it. They kept a buy rating on Trupanion on Friday with a $34 price target. I still believe in the story, regardless of what you look on FinTwit and read. People calling the end of Trupanion competitive concerns. I've already done my rants on a lot of the things that they cite wrong, bad reviews, not only customer reviews, employee reviews, throwing insults at the CEO. Well, actually, the founder who's leaving, all these bearish things. And then they talk about the competitive concerns. And to me, it's such a the market for pet insurance in the United States is such an unmet need that I think there's room for plenty of players. And the fact that some of these names like Lemonade have come into the space, Chewy partnered with Trupanion, I think that all just goes to show the opportunity that some of these companies who have their hands in the pet business see that pet insurance is a huge unmet need. And I think there's room for many competitors. And not only that, I think as the exposure to pet owners to pet insurance becomes more prevalent, they're going to have choices, and it's just going to lead more people into Trupanion. So not going to sit here and add some strikes, but I do think it could head over 30. My calls are back to life. Hopefully they'll go back. They'll head back into the green today and tomorrow, and heads over $30. But huge short interest. 41% of the shares sold short, and I think a lot of it's on a pipe dream that they think Trupanion's going bankrupt. And to me, the only way that happens is if all 1 million of their insured pets all file claims at the same time. But rants for other days. VKTX there was a spike in the morning, late morning yesterday. I think it was late morning. Pretty much right after the open. Was it after the open? I have to go look but nice move. Then over $80, couldn't hold it. Then it was trading under 80, then back over 80, and then it closed at 79.61. One of these days it gets over $80, holds, and then starts to rally up near 90 and then 200. This evening, I think it's probably a Pacific fireside chat, but they'll be talking at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern about with BTIG, which is an analyst. I don't know if there's going to be updates that are going to be market changing, but if there are, I'll certainly update on the watch list tomorrow. And then last but not least, Adobe. And I keep talking about it, possibly adding some more strikes on Adobe into next week. Holding freebie calls. I was hoping it was up to 497 yesterday. Couldn't break through. Now it's down here pretty much right at 490 in the pre-market. Only going to take a 2% rally or so for the calls to really start to take off. So depending on what the market does, if it holds its ground, Adobe can find some footing. I might look to add some more strikes into next week and go from there. Names I was looking at earnings yesterday: WYNN, Twilio, and Arista Networks. WYNN actually looks like a possible bounce play, but I'll just probably sit on the sidelines. I don't want to be in too much. That one's up at 99 bucks, up about $1.80. So it's going to be a premium killer. You look at Arista Networks, that one's soaring. At first, it sold off after its earnings down to 260, then almost near 300 bucks. I guess, it's their conference call and people started to wrap their heads around their numbers. And now it's sitting here at 288. I'm not sure we're going to trade that one either. And then last but not least was Twilio. And Twilio actually wasn't down too much. Well, it's down $5, so over 10%. That's a name I could watch for a bounce possibly. But after the close today, you have ARM, Hood, Airbnb, the Trade Desk, AMC, AppLovin. Not any of the names outside of IIPR and Trupanion, not Trupanion, Cardlytics I'll be watching. But oh, Morgan Stanley just came out. Why am I missing this? Morgan Stanley came out and raised their price target on Star Surgical to 50 from 35. So maybe that gets a bounce. Anyway, that's my rant, folks. I'll have this up in a little bit. Let's have a great day, and I'll try and get on audio today. It hasn't been much to talk about the past 2 days, besides me reiterating what I've said last week and the last couple of days in regards to some of these names. So hopefully we get some fun trades today and go from there. Let's have a great day. Rock and roll.